everyone. My name is Kathleen Mason, as she mentioned, from the Massachusetts Office of Coastal Zone Management. Within CZM, we have a few different teams. So I'm from the Coastal Habitat and Water Quality team, hence our grant name, Coastal Habitat and Water Quality Grants. And so I'm going to be speaking on behalf of this grant, as well as some that are offered by the Buzzards Bay National Estuaries Program, as they are housed under CZM as well. So as mentioned, our main goals are coastal habitat and water quality. And so generally, we hope to remediate impaired waters, improve and protect the water quality to support those critical resources as well as their different uses, and build capacity of Massachusetts communities to continue implementing green stormwater infrastructure. And additionally, that habitat component as well, so development of comprehensive habitat restoration plans across the Commonwealth. So within our grant program, it's eligible for all the municipalities in the coastal watershed. So those are highlighted in green here. Additionally, federally recognized tribes, nonprofit organizations, regional planning agencies, and stormwater collaboratives are eligible in partnership with a municipality. So we have 5 main categories within our grant program that are for eligible projects, and any applicant project can have one or more of these categories included within their proposed project. So these include the assessment, identification, and characterization of stormwater pollution sources, the design, permitting, implementation, and/or retrofits of structural stormwater best management practices, capacity building activities support implementation of green stormwater infrastructure, comprehensive habitat restoration planning, and advancement of priority land acquisition planning activities. So I'm going to go through each one of these a little bit more so you can get a bigger picture as to what these might include. So the first one, stormwater assessment. So that's the assessment, identification, and characterization of stormwater. So this category mainly focuses on non-point source pollution, specifically stormwater discharges to those eligible water bodies within the coastal watershed. And eligible water bodies include any water that has a surface water connection to the Massachusetts coast. So streams, rivers, wetlands, estuaries, all of those. And so we look for an outline of any existing data and knowledge to demonstrate that clear basis for further work. And within that assessment, that might include physical evaluation of drainage areas, land use characterization, water quality testing at in-stream and outfall locations, as well as the investigation of appropriate stormwater BMPs. Our second category, or eligible project category, is BMP implementation. So that includes the design, permitting, retrofits, and implementation of structural stormwater BMPs. So both new BMPs to be implemented, as well as the retrofits of any existing stormwater BMPs. Ultimately, we want to target the treatment of contaminants of concern, whether those are identified on Mass DEP's integrated list of waters or from other background information. So we want to remediate the stormwater runoff, and then any retrofits that are being proposed, we want those to generally increase the ability of that existing infrastructure to improve or protect the water quality, and maybe even support the resiliency of the design life of the structure. All BMP implementation projects are required to have an operation and maintenance plan. And a key note, too, is that they must be located on municipally owned land or receive an access easement. So that's a little logistic there. Our third category was capacity building. So we want to support the future implementation of green stormwater infrastructure. So really anything that's going to help the municipalities get to that point. Whether it's implementation or the long-term maintenance and function of those BMPs. So some things are listed here that might include, whether that's the development or implementation of stormwater bylaws, ordinances or standards, or management measures, green infrastructure operation and maintenance trainings for municipal staff, any guidance documents or case studies, and the development of tools or resources that support assessment, planning, design, and generally the implementation of green stormwater infrastructure. So whatever can help you get to that eventual implementation. Our fourth category is comprehensive habitat restoration planning. So moving from stormwater to habitat. So this includes evaluation, identification of restoration alternatives, and creation of that comprehensive plan. So the key word for us is always comprehensive. So detailing all the existing conditions, defining and evaluating natural resources and stressors within a specific project area would be a big goal of your project, as well as then assessing and prioritizing different restoration opportunities and putting those into a plan, whether short-term or long-term actions, whatever is going to help you move forward to eventually to habitat restoration implementation. Our last category is new as of this FY25. So we added this year a priority land acquisition planning eligible project category. I will note that this is only open to the eligible applicants that have developed a habitat restoration plan, so that would have been completed under previous coastal habitat and water quality funding. So our goal is to advance the planning and evaluation of potential lands for acquisition, whether that's for restoration purposes, buffer protection, or future marsh migration. Future marsh migration is definitely an upcoming priority that a lot of projects are starting to address. And so within that, you might imagine it would include legal analysis or assessment of ownership, or generally putting the lands into a priority list. So again, those are the 5 eligible project categories that our grant program includes. And like I mentioned before, any project might include one or more of those categories your project might come in for. But within all of those competitive grants within our program will include public engagement, education, and outreach, as well as consideration for climate resiliency. So we want to learn in your application about what engagement efforts have been done either previously to help inform your project or will be included within your project scope. And then additionally, consideration of any climate resilience, so the design life of your BMP implementation, or in your assessments using all existing state tools and data to figure out what the best method is for your plan moving forward. I've included some logistics. I will note, so generally our timeline for our RFR release is in the spring annually. So our application has closed and we're approaching our evaluation stage. So you cannot get this money this year, but you can next year in FY26. So generally, and again, always pertaining to our current year, but our match was optional but recommended for FY25. We had about $2 million available in total funding. Generally, we expect individual project costs to range between $50,000 and $850,000, depending on that project type. As an implementation project might be different than assessment. And then our project timelines run on a 1 or 2 year time, and that's following the state fiscal calendar. So we have lots of staff that are available, both in our coastal habitat and water quality team, as well as regional coordinators that you can reach out to. So as others has mentioned, we are available all year long until the RFR is released, then we've got that quiet time. So if you have project ideas or you want to talk through and figure out how you might implement something or assess something in your community, feel free to reach out throughout the year, and we'll be happy to chat. So for Cape and Islands, Steve McKenna is your regional coordinator. So he's helped on many projects and has great Cape experience. And then up in the Boston office, we have Adrian, myself, and Lexi, who can provide both habitat expertise and coastal water quality. So yeah, free to provide technical assistance. Additionally, we have more regional support, as mentioned, the Massachusetts Bays and Buzzards Bay National Estuary programs. So there are some more contacts across the state. Joanne Muramoto from APCC can also provide some expertise, and Joe Costa from Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program. Okay, so now I'm going to switch. I'm basically talking on Joe Costa's behalf to touch on the Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program grant programs. And so this is really a small region of the Cape, so pertaining to Bourne and Falmouth on the Cape side of Buzzards Bay. So very specific as they fund more in the mainland, I'll call it. And so there are 2 grant programs that exist. I think one is currently out. Again, I'm not the main contact or expert on this, but wanting to share this information. So you can go to their website and learn more and find the RFR as well. Generally, municipalities are eligible to apply, and they have similar criteria between those 2 grant programs, but scoring might be different. Any project that addresses goals of the Comprehensive Conservation and Management Plan is eligible for funding. And addressing climate or environmental justice problems is big. And then here we have listed the 9 grant categories within their program. Stormwater designs and assessments, construction of stormwater treatment facilities, support for tasks to achieve MS4 compliance, restoration of wetlands habitat, migratory fish passage, construction of a boat pump out facility, creation of participation in online reporting systems for tracking alternative septic systems, projects that mitigate nutrient loading or bacteria pollution, permanent land preservation, other activities in support of that comprehensive conservation and management plan. So a big list there, and some specifically pertaining to the discussions today. So if you're Bourne or Falmouth, feel free to reach out to Joe Costa or contact me and I can make that connection. And let's see, I think that's it for me, so thank you.